Good morning. We are Juhi Katta and Emmanuel Wendt, and we are representing Mushloom in the Fashion Institute of Technology. Our backgrounds are in fashion design and interior design respectively, and we are from the graduating class of 2020. To set the stage, we are first going to talk about why we have decided to explore how design can intersect with biological processes to create better models for the textile industry. Within our respective design fields, we work with textiles that are engineered to meet the needs of our world. Whether that be affordability for fast fashion or the durability of fabrics for commercial interiors, the options for sustainably produced textiles, while existing, are still very limited. Today, the most utilized and produced fiber in the world is polyester. The versatile material is highly durable, easily dyeable, shrink and stretch resistant. The fibers are strong yet lightweight and have a low-cost production, which leads to over 50 million metric tons being produced per year. However, this petroleum-based fiber is created via a toxic, carbon-intensive process that impacts the environment, humans, and other living things. The manufacturing of polyester consumes approximately 104 million barrels of oil per year, and the toxic runoff from the fabrication can infiltrate waterways such as groundwater, rivers, and oceans. There are further consequences at the end of its life cycle. Polyester textiles can end up being incinerated, which further increases its carbon footprint and results in air pollution, releasing toxic aerosolized particles which are heavily linked to respiratory illnesses. Thus, we are using biodesign to create an alternative to the current synthetic fibers such as polyester. This will assist in solving the current issues within the textile industry, which is overdue for sustainable innovations that meet our needs, while also serving the planet.
We would like to introduce Mushloom, our concept for a biodegradable textile made by combining chitosan from fungi with proteins salvaged from corn and milk agricultural waste that can serve as an alternative sustainable material. Currently, there are a number of applications of the chitosan polymer, from the pharmaceutical, textile, biotechnological, cosmetic, and food industries, and some which are yet to be discovered. In the textile industry, it is used as a pre-treatment for textiles, and in the medical industry as a wound dressing to assist with healing due to its bioactive, biocompatible, and biodegradable properties. Being inspired by the potential, we asked, what if we could use chitosan to create an entire textile? Looking at nature and how ecosystems function to work together, we felt it essential to integrate a multifaceted approach to the project that would seek to address areas such as diverting and utilizing waste streams, where just as in nature, nothing is wasted, lending support to the development of technology-based urban farming, an emerging industry which is allowing for less toxic farming practices and boosting commercial farming effectiveness. Propagating the expanding closed-loop culture, which is promoting cognizance of how we consume as individuals and as societies. And innovations for the textile industry to offer sustainable alternatives to the commercial production of textiles.
Chitin is the most abundant biopolymer after cellulose and is currently commercially produced from the shell waste of crab, shrimp, and krill. But the percentage of chitin found in the waste and the amount of shells available are unpredictable, resulting in a lack of stability for wider commercial use. However, significant levels of chitin have also been found in the cell walls of mushrooms, particularly in Zygomycota fungus, a potential opportunity for an untapped source that offers commercially viable chitin. We'll be converting harvested chitin to chitosan because it is a biomaterial with superior mechanical property and diverse biological activity. An important first step in the chemical processes is converting the harvest chitin into chitosan. Chitosan is formed from the chitin through the use of an enzyme, Chitin Deacetylase. This is a process that consumes less energy and generates less environmentally toxic waste than the traditional hot alkali processes to achieve the conversion. When researching the possibility of using chitin to create the fiber, we found that it would require the use of toxic and corrosive chemicals, and chitosan is more soluble than chitin, making for a more desirable starting compound. When researching the work done on other projects with chitosan, we hypothesized that on its own, a chitosan-based fiber may lack certain properties such as mechanical strength and drapability that would make it more suitable to be used by the textile industry. Considering that, we investigated Aslan and Basara, protein-based biofibers. Researching the history of textiles made from Aslan and Basara, we think that not only could they augment and adjust the properties of the chitosan fiber, but also still maintain the potential for a biodegradable composite textile that has the look, feel, and performance of popular synthetic fibers.
Increasing tensile strength, having a soft feel, and maintaining biodegradability are qualities we sought out, and we found those in zein, a corn-derived fibrous protein. Historically, it was used in the development of the Vaikara textile, which was abandoned in the 1950s in preference for petroleum-based textiles. Zein accounts for 45 to 50% of the protein found in corn, and 75% of that is contained in the endosperm tissues, with the remainder being distributed between the germ and the bran. In addition, it has hydrophobic properties and can be treated using green chemistry, aligning the use of zein with one of the main purposes of utilizing natural fibers, which is being environmentally sustainable. Again, we continue to aim for the ideal properties of fibers as we continued our search, seeking out insulating, antibacterial, dyeable, and absorbent qualities. We found that fibers derived from casein, a milk protein, have exhibited these. The proteins would be extracted from fermented cow milk. These can be stretched and spun into a fiber and yarn that would exhibit the properties that were previously mentioned, and also be easily compositable with other fibers.
In zein and casein, we found two potential options that help create an end product for the composite textile of Mushloom that also fulfills the need of maintaining the bigger goals of the project. In the United States, the corn and dairy industries are federally subsidized and produced in massive quantities. Due to fluctuations in demand for these products, it can often result in oversupply and requires the dumping of the surplus that amounts to tens of millions of gallons or pounds per year. As excess production of milk or corn alternates on a cyclical basis, if the success is found in using both sources, the opportunity arises to utilize the excess crop and reduce the waste of the production cycle. By using these agricultural waste streams, we can create fibers that would augment the chitosan-based fiber, create organic substrates for growing the mushrooms, and the post-extraction mulch from corn can produce ethanol through fermentation, which can be used for extraction of the proteins, all contributing to a circular economy for Mushloom.
We focused on researching and developing two pathways of laboratory work for combining the elements of chitosan, zein, and casein, chemical bonding and mechanical bonding. With chemical bonding, we are looking at the molecular structures of zein, casein, and chitosan, and hope to utilize cross-linking between the compounds, a method that can increase the resulting fiber's durability and strength. Further, experimenting with manipulation of the R groups of the protein compounds can possibly enhance the inherent properties and would result in an optimal interaction with the chitosan. Experimenting at this stage would be key as we continue to test, analyze, adjust, and test again with different manipulations to end up with the optimal properties for Mushloom.
At last, with all the pieces in place, proteins and chitosan, we can marry science and technology with design to create a Mushloom yarn that is durable, comfortable, and environmentally friendly. We are considering two established methods from the textile industry. The first is through a method called wet spinning, which is where chitosan or protein is dissolved into a solvent and then pushed through a spinneret and into a chemical bath where it solidifies as it is extruded and creates the yarn. The second is electrospinning, which involves applying a high-voltage electrical charge to a droplet of the solution as it is pumped out of a spinneret, causing it to solidify into a fiber through electrostatic repulsion. It's these methods that would be used in conjunction with the second method of bonding called mechanical bonding, by spinning the fibers separately and combining them through a weave.
Once we have our yarn, we can create the textile, but it doesn't end here. The aim of Mushloom is to provide the industry with a performance-grade textile that can compete and therefore be an alternative to the most commonly used yarns in the industry. So, conducting tests on the breaking point, tensile strength, stretch ratio, dyeability, and water resistance and absorption are essential. Comparing them to poly-based textiles will quantify the success of Mushloom's usability. Lastly, analyzing the energy consumed during production, byproducts created, and the effects of how the textile degrades to determine if we've hit our goals established at the start of the project. Somewhere along the way, we began to think of ourselves as separate from nature. Our practices, whether socially or industrially, operated without concern or cognizance of the link that we share with each other and with our planet. The importance of acknowledging the vast network of connections, whether to our professional industries or to the ecospheres we inhabit as a species, is more important than ever. Mushloom seeks to bridge the gaps by embracing those connections and using them to strive for innovations that can create a better standard that we deserve. Thank you.